Hey, welcome back to my channel. In this video, I'm gonna talk about top 5 best small gaming keyboard. Starting at number 5. Keychron K2. The Keychron K2 redefines affordability for wireless gaming keyboards. It's marked itself out, in the eyes of generalists, as a marvelous entry-level keyboard that can act as a gateway into the wider world of mechanicals. Starting out at just $69, you get a decent-sized gaming keyboard with great wireless functionality and Keychron mechanical switches for your money. Its design is simple with gray ABS keycaps and a slightly more compact 84-key layout that only skimps out on the numpad, and offers a slightly squashed NAV cluster. With that said though, sometimes it can feel like a cheap keyboard €1. The switches aren't the best around, but they're pretty impressive nonetheless at this price. As for backlighting, there are 4 levels of lighting to choose from, and a load of standard lighting effects. It's nicely vibrant and crisp and offsets the darker keycap coloring nicely, but it's a little bit of a pain having to cycle through all the presets to get to the static lighting mode. Coming at number 4. Logitech G915 Lightspeed. If you've got your heart set on a wireless keyboard, then the Logitech G915 is a great example of the genre. It's not a peripheral we believe requires wireless functionality. We much prefer a wireless gaming mouse or wireless gaming headset. But there are a few moments when a wireless keyboard is helpful, like gaming on the couch or if you regularly move your keyboard between devices and locations. You'll be required to spend that little bit more for wireless functionality than what we tend to see for wired mechanical keyboards with similar features €1. The Logitech G915 is $250. There's a slightly cheaper TKL version, but not so much so that we'd instantly recommend it over the full-size model. Beneath that stylish exterior lies fantastically responsive Kale-made GL key switches. You can pick from linear, tactile, or clicky, and we recommend the latter if you really want to make a racket. At number 3. Skill KM360. There is a trend towards $200 plus gaming keyboards in the market at the moment, but that doesn't mean there aren't quality mechanical switchboards available at a more reasonable price. Often you'll find these more budget-oriented options offering cheap switches from other manufacturers, but the Skill KM360 comes featuring the classic Cherry MX Red linear switch out of the gate and doesn't cost a bomb. To pick up legit Cherry switches you could run up quite a bill with the largest, most fully featured gaming keyboards. If you can't cope without your gaming board being lit up like a rainbow, then you may be disappointed with the single color option. But damn, the white LEDs on this Skill board are the brightest I've ever seen. Normally I like to keep at max brightness all day long, but the KM360 would burn out my retina if I did. It is very bright, but at least the lack of rainbows has helped to keep the price at a more reasonable level. This TKL board is basic, but what it does very well. It's solid, well-built, reliable, and looks pretty decent too. I was a little disappointed at the lack of wrist rest, and the fact there's no pass-through, or media controls, but I'll happily give those a pass in favor of affordable functionality. The detachable USB Type-C is a real boon to the longevity of this board, too. Number 2 of my list. Mountain Everest Max. All things to all people, that's almost what the Mountain Everest Max gaming keyboard represents. It's a modular design, meaning you can pull parts of it off and move them about. And it's one of my favorite designs since it first landed on my desk. I don't always need the numpad on a full-size keyboard, but it certainly comes in handy sometimes during the workday. When I'm gaming though, all I want is a compact TKL board to get my mouse and keyboard hands closer together and give me more desktop real estate to fling around my rodent. Basically, the magnetically attaching numpad module can be attached to either side of the base mechanical TKL board and is completely hot swappable. The admittedly costly $270 complete Everest Max kit also comes with a plush magnetic wrist rest, a media module with discrete controls, and an LCD screen. It's also a board for the keyboard enthusiast, with a base that allows you to pull out switches at will and replace them as easily as just pushing them in. Against the likes of glorious keyboards, it's a supreme attempt at crafting completely modular gaming keyboards, which can house any hot swappable mechanical switches you can buy. And number 1. Corsair K100 RGB Optical. When you want to go the extra mile and upgrade to the absolute best of the best, it's hard to find a more premium option than the Corsair K100 RGB. Be warned, though, this is a big keyboard. Its enormous footprint still requires some desk clearing before it can be nested comfortably. But feature-wise, the K100 RGB's got it all. The fundamental core of the K100 is very much like the K95, with the same premium quality throughout. The same overall design, the same macro keys down the left-hand side, the same metal roll in the top right corner, the same media keys just below it, and the same double-shot keycaps. There's an aggressive amount of RGB in this keyboard too. In total, there are now 44 zones for you to throw light out of. And having rippling, wavy patterns play off your keyboard can be every bit as distracting as you can imagine. Bright lights aside, Corsair's new OPX optical mechanical switches can be found under the Corsair K100 RGB Opticals, PBT double-shot keycaps. It's worth noting from the outset that the OPX switches are still digital units, not the variable analog type that can be found in the likes of the Wooting keyboards, which can detect how far down the key is pressed and respond by turning harder. Check out this video description for latest price and more informations. Thank you for watching this video. Please subscribe and stay tuned.